Good morning, stamping friends. This is Karen Decker here in Castle Rock, Colorado, bringing you 4 beautiful cards with some new products. 2 of them with new products that Stampin' Up! Offers, and some to show you what Stampin' Up! Has done to give us some fun birthday chick cards. So I'll wait another couple minutes and tell you about myself. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 13 years. It took a minute there. I had to do the math. I've been with Stampin' Up! For a long time, and I love their products. I love the new way they present things. We think, oh my goodness, I don't need another butterfly, and then they come out with the most incredible butterfly you have ever seen. So just like with the birthday chick, we had the chickens, the Hey Chick set in 2017. It was a celebration offering. And now they came back with Hey Birthday Chick, which are the 2 chickens you see here right now, and dies for the last set and dies for this set. So now we have dies to cut out corn stalks and feed sacks and cupcakes with a chicken. And what I love is the streamers. Who doesn't need streamers to decorate those pretty cards? So I'm going to show you, today I am not going to do 4 cards and work from start to finish with all these cards. You'd be here for 2 hours and you'd probably fall asleep. Now you can, once it's done, you can always go back, you could pull it up, you could zoom through to the specific one. I'm going to try to keep each card to 15 minutes. I'm going to show you the products that I used in this and how I made them. On my blog, stampalosopher.com, you can go probably the first of next week, and you will be able to see the actual cuts on these, the dimensions, and a reminder of what products I've used so that you can create your own cards. Or order the card kits from me. If you have the stamp sets yourself, I cannot stamp things, but I could send you the cards either already made up, or you could get a kit if you've already got these products. So I'm going to switch over here and say good morning. Hello, everyone. I've been saying good morning for 2 minutes, but let's try again now that it's exactly 9:30 and people may be coming on. Good morning from Karen Decker here in Castle Rock, Colorado, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have 4 cards to show you today to hopefully bring a pinch of creativity to spice up your crafting world. That's our little Sal's statement that we came up with as a tagline. And that's exactly what I want to do is show you the incredible products we have now with Stampin' Up!, a couple of the new ones, and some of them are only available for the next couple months. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you 4 cards today. Again, I'm not going to work through them front to the end. For those of you who have the kits, my blog might be a little better for you because it will have dimensions, but your kits already have everything cut up. So this will give you a brief overview of how to put the card together and what to stamp and what I used. But I'm not going to go from front to start or you'd be here for 2 hours. And that is for our Stamp-A-Stack this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon and Saturday. So pay attention to the emails I send, and if you're willing to come now and get together, we're having Stamp-A-Stacks again. So let's start here and let's look at these 4 cards. What I have for you is two cards made with the Hey Birthday Chick stamp set, but with a special edition here on this one. As you see on this one, there we go. What is that paper? That brown wood tone looking paper back there. That, my friends, is a new offering from Stampin' Up! It's called Natural Touch Specialty Designer Series paper. It is beautiful, very lightweight, almost more of the weight of our envelope paper, so it's a very lightweight and a wood tone. And it actually has the grains in there. I'm sure you can't see that on there. So I have used that with this Hey Birthday chick here. And I'll get into more on the construction there. Let me just do a quick overview. And then here, one of the products that I want to point out here, besides our wonderful streamers we can now cut out, and we cut out this little chicken with dies. But look at this paper. Isn't that the coolest paper? With all those dots. I didn't make those dots. That is actually the designer series paper. And not only do they have designer series paper with beautiful little dots, they have gems that match the paper. I saw somebody else who had done a card and she had used the gems and she didn't use a chicken there. She actually just used a full sheet of this designer series paper and a happy birthday with streamers. Didn't even use a little chicken on there. Well, we have to have the chicken. So we did that. And if you look on page, I'm going to grab that right quick because I really think that's something you need to have in your stash. It is called Playing with Patterns. Do you see the dotted pattern there? Right here? Whoops, got to get the finger going the right way. There's Playing with Patterns. Fabulous set of paper there. And then we go a little farther. And on page 157, what did they give us? They gave us dots that are playing with pattern dots. So I combined those two things, casing somebody online. I'm sure I saw it. I didn't dream it. I just saw something and I'm going, oh my gosh, that paper is so perfect. And then you put streamers and then we have an excellent way to make a birthday card. I've used Night of Navy here. And another product you may not have noticed in the book. Do you see that happy birthday? That happy birthday is Night of Navy, and it's placed on our new foam adhesive sheets. I'm trying to find them right here. I put everything in piles so that I could be sure and have it available. And then I lose it. So this is another product that's available called foam adhesive sheets. So this comes in a little packet like this, but they're full size. So we put our Night of Navy on a piece, and then we take our die and we run it through. And now instead of trying to pop it up with little bits of Stampin' Dimensionals that we're cutting in half or thirds or quarters, by running it through with its own die, we now have a popped up word that's just beautiful. So those are our foam adhesive sheets that we used on that and our designer series paper. Then for the month of March and April through the start of the new catalog, May 3rd, we have an introduction to a set that will be in the new catalog with these butterflies. However, the paper that I showed you, the paper that is the Natural Touch would look light green paper, and the butterflies will only be available during this promotion. So we have this fabulous butterfly paper only available for a couple months. And it has, I mean, there's things that you're going to use for other beautiful watercolor looks besides just with butterflies. And of course, the pieces that I've used here, I used them all up, basically making all the card kits for our Stamp-A-Stack. So I didn't show you them there, but this one is my favorite. This piece of paper is in that designer series paper stack of 6x6s. And what I've done here is I've used the Oh So Whimsy dies from the mini catalog to do this little punch out on the edge. It just gives it the neatest little look, especially when you think of butterflies fluttering through the air. It's almost like what they would, if you had a jet stream for a butterfly, they would have those little things flying through the air. So this is in that new paper, and both the 6x6 and the 12x12 are only available for March and April, and I think the first 2 days of May. And you can get that paper, and right now you can get the butterflies and the butterfly dies with it as a bundle and get the entire bundle. So that is what we're calling the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. And it is an amazing bundle. You have this set of butterflies that you can stamp, but then you also have 2 sets of dies. The dies cut out the butterfly. This is one full stamp. I have that here, but let's just look at the paper. This is one full connected stamp. This is one full connected die. These are individual dies. Then here's our beautiful papers, where you can buy those as the Natural Touch specialty paper, and they're calling it Butterfly Bayou 6x6 paper. And then, amazingly, and they have that set of dies matches, we need to zoom up on this, matches a piece of paper that's in, I will not make you dizzy here in a minute, I'll slow down. Can you see that, where the die is laid on a piece of the Butterfly Bayou paper and cut out all of those beautiful butterflies? All at one swoosh. So you cut it out and you wind up with 6 butterflies. And I've used 3 butterflies here, 2 medium ones and a smaller one, and then a larger one here. But needing to make numerous kits, I didn't have enough butterflies, which is why I can't show you the paper, because I cut them all out into butterflies and made card kits for our Stamp-A-Stacks this week. So I thought, well, I loved this design with the bigger butterfly. And then we had a great big butterfly left over, the monarch butterfly. So I took another piece of paper and I cut out the monarch butterfly here. And I put black twine behind him. It's the thick twine. I put a big black dot here and a little black dot on this butterfly here. And I backed it on one of the doilies that we offer. These vellum doilies are in the catalog. They're square, and they just add that little bit of special touch. So if you wanted to do an Easter card or a feminine birthday or a masculine birthday, you have 2 different sets of butterflies here. And this, I think, would make a beautiful Easter card too, to put Happy Easter on here and have an Easter card to send to all your friends. The other thing we want to, this was actually, let me back up before I finish that statement. This was actually, these 2 cards with the triangle cuts are what we did as our mystery card a couple months ago, where we took a piece of designer series paper and we cut it on the diagonal. Then we held it back together with a piece of sticky note and cut it the other way on a diagonal. And then you take the back side, and if I had it here, I could show you, but I used them all up. But basically, the back of this orange is this. The back of this is the orange. So then you can choose that you want your butterflies here on the side and your orange top and bottom, or vice versa. I chose on both of these to put my designer paper that was more the plain on the sides with my butterflies on the top and bottom. But a really fun, and simple card to make. And you cut out a diagonal, and all those directions will be on my blog, www.stampalosopher.com. So I will have the directions for that. If you're anxious, you might want to go back to the mystery card number 9, I think. So if you did a search up top and did mystery card number 9, you would find that. Or at stampalosopher.com, you can go to the recipe box. You can scroll through and you'll see the one that I did for the mystery card has a big daisy on the front of it. So you could see that. And then you could go just click on that picture and it will take you to the blog where you will have the directions for that mystery card. Okay, so now we've seen the product. This one, one more thing I needed to tell you. This is our Magenta Madness Pink. And if you're loving that color, basically every year Stampin' Up! Comes out with 5 new colors when they introduce their annual catalog. And we will be getting the new annual catalog May 4th. So we will have 5 new colors. But the sad thing is the 5 new colors from the catalog 2 years ago will go away. So let me show you those colors. Oh, I was wrong. Magenta Madness stays till 2022. So we're safe with Magenta Madness and Misty Moonlight, which is what I have used on the back of here. Love those colors. Just Jade is a good color to stamp for your green here. So I was wrong there. Those colors carry forward. So these are our in colors that came out last summer. Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight. These are the ones that are going to go away forever and ever. So Terracotta Tiles, Seaside Spray. I think I've used 2 packs of that. Rococo Rose, Purple Posy, and Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock I used probably, wow, at least a full pack of that. I love that color. So if you like these colors and want them in your stash, or if you have a lot of designer series paper that matches these colors, you probably want to order now. The we call it the retiring list will come out in a month, and we'll be able to see what is not going to be in the new catalog and what we need to get our hands on now. So you're going to want to keep those wish lists handy so that you can see the retiring list and get any of those stamp sets that you've said, well, I really want that, but I want this more, so you prioritize something else. You may want to go back now and say, okay, of these 4 priorities, this one's going away, this one's staying. I'll get the one that's going away because I can still get the one that'll be in the new catalog for the next year. So be careful with your colors here. If you love any of these, you're going to want, especially if you bought the ink pads and did not buy the re-inkers. The re-inkers are the first thing that go away every time our in colors go out. People wait to the last minute and they buy those in color re-inkers, and then we have the little blank ink pads, the small ones, and people use those then to make an ink pad for themselves. But by having the re-inkers, you can have those colors for a long time. So look at your papers and see if there's some of those that you want before they're retired. Okay. So that's pretty much it for advertising. Let's go back now and let's look at your kits. Because some of you, I'm sorry, couldn't make it to the Stamp-A-Stacks today. So in your kit for this little guy, you will have streamers. Sometimes it's good just to go, for those of you who bought your kits, knowing you had those already, let me show you what you've got. So let's hope you have an envelope, that I didn't forget envelopes. Sometimes I have to go back and double check those and make sure everybody got an envelope. This is Night of Navy for your base. The standard cut, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. And then you have, I made these squares exactly the same, even though one of them is just to stamp your chick on. It is not to layer in here anywhere. One, you're going to layer, and I liked doing it cattywampus. So basically I've taken this, so you've got one of those, and that was 2.5 by 2.5. And interesting that as I'm trying to do Stamp-A-Stacks, and I'm going, oh, I've got this beautiful paper, but I've got to make this number of cards, and trying to figure out how I can make that paper stretch, and yet I want to still see a lot of dots. And I thought it worked cool to put it a little cattywampus so we see a few more of the dots. And then we've got our white piece on here. Now this one I did adhere down straight. And then I took the streamer coming down about 1/2 inch on this side. And then taking the Coastal Cabana one next and putting it, now going the other way from that corner. And then on top, going pretty much all straight across. Oh, and do what you saw what I just about did. When we run our paper through our dies, there's always a good side and a bad side. I don't know if you can see that. No. This side, you see how it has a nice rounded edges? That's the good side. You want to be sure and do that when you... And this one I ran straight from the corner to where it hit the other side. And yes, my chicken's over the one, but that's okay. I think it looks like it's in the room behind him. So then that other 2.5 by 2.5, you're going to stamp your chicken. You're going to stamp your chicken on him and then color him, cut him out, and then let me show you here. I've popped him up. I have used Highland Heather on the cupcake bottom. Now I wanted it to look like white icing on the top, you know, like cream cheese icing. So I took our light blue and just did the edges there to make it look more like a shadow. Then I've got the green for the candle, yellow for the flame with a teensy tiny bit of pumpkin pie right at the top of the flame to color that. So that's how I've colored that. Then what I've done is I've done Mango Melody, which it sounds like it's more yellow, but it really does, it's pretty orange on his feet and his beak. And then Daffodil Delight to color his body. But then bringing in, this is dark mango melody. Then I brought in the light mango melody to do just a little bit of light orange on his hair. Then to finish him off, that sounded bad. We're not finishing the chicken off for supper tomorrow. But then as another touch, basically I took our light smoky slate and I colored a shadow there under our little guy. I colored it on the 2.5 by 2.5 when I stamped him. But then it all gets cut off, so I had to recolor that so that we had our shadow there underneath the chicken. So that is our chicken. So that's our top layer. So we've popped up the chicken, but I did not pop up any of these other layers. They're glued directly and just a little cattywampus, okay? But what I did too, in that stamp set, we have some confetti. So I took crushed curry and the confetti, and I stamped it just on this much of the corner. So just to add that, but to leave, I really liked having the white on this part and putting your happy birthday down there with its pop-up. I had made a previous card with this, and when I was trying to think, what do I do with chickens that would make somebody really love the card? Well, I had this card that I had done. This is our hostess set, our current hostess set. This too will go away. It's in the very back of our catalog. And I had used the hearts in that hostess set. One day it was amazing. I needed 4 sympathy cards, about 5 thank you cards, and 9. I needed 14 and some birthday cards. So I basically stamped out a bunch of these, and this is on the Just Jade, and then just changed this greeting down here. But I thought it was really interesting. I had seen it again. I spent a lot of time on Pinterest and looking at different things at Stampin' Up! And Stampin' Connection. And I see these ideas and they stick in my mind, even though I don't actually save them. But it stuck in my mind, and I used a different one than what the lady did online and stamped like little bricks there at the corner. So that's where I came up with the idea that let's just stamp the confetti on the corner, and then it'll add to it. Now I started and I stamped in the Coastal Cabana the confetti, and it was too much in my mind, in my opinion. So basically I turned that white piece of paper over and I stamped it with the crushed curry, and I thought it was better that it didn't put so much color, taking away from our little chicken on the front. This little chicken is the cutest thing. I have seen him where they've gotten rid of the cupcake and they used him like on our paper pumpkin, and they had the mailbox like right here, and they put him on top of one of the other chickens looking in the mailbox for something. Cute as it could be. So this is one that we can use for something other than just birthdays. The whole set it's just got a lot of fun stuff in it. And then on the inside, what I did is I took our last, because some of you, I forget, are just, you're not going to be here with me. I took our last, in your kit, you should have had 2 of the same size basic whites, and I took our last basic white and put our yellow up here. And then if I find these stamp sets, it would be easier, wouldn't it? So this is the Hey Birthday Chick, and it has this Let's Celebrate You. I stamped that in Night of Navy. Then I stamped our little chick from that set. I'm glad you can't see my head. You'd be dizzy as I sit here. I've got these stacks of things beside me. But this little guy comes from that Hey Birthday chick too. So I've colored him with the Daffodil Delight and the Mango Melody. And again, added that little bit of blue shading on the edge of the eggshell that you definitely want to know is white. And then just took a little black marker and put some motion on him. So he's jumping up and down saying, "Let's celebrate you." So that's the inside of that card. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. You who have bought the kits because you already had that, let me know if I can help you with anything that's not on here or on our blog. So this will be on the blog, but probably not till next week because I have grandkids for part of the rest of this week. And I won't be posting. I will be playing with little boys. They're fun. Oh, in your kit, I'm going, what else is in my kit? In your kit, you have a piece of that double back adhesive that's been cut just the right size for your Night of Navy that you're going to use your Happy Birthday die and cut that out, and then you'll have it ready to pop up. Now, we did have to run this through. We ran it through probably 4 times, back and forth, back and forth. That'd be 4 times so that all this middle would pop out nicely. And much of when you pull the backing off, much of those little insides come out with it. So that makes it a little easier, but you may need a little, your picker tool, Stampin' Up! Picker tool to punch out right in those middles. Okay? And then be sure and add your little gems. And those are in your kit too, so that you can have the right color of gems that exactly match the paper. I love you, Stampin' Up! Thank you for doing that. All right, let's put up this kit and this card, and let's look at the next one. And those of you who may be watching or maybe coming to the Stamp-A-Stack think you don't need to watch, this is a great way to, when we're at a Stamp-A-Stack, sometimes we get so busy talking that I'm talking to one person how to do something and missing. So let's look at missing the other person. Let's look at this card. This card, I do know exactly who did this one. Well, I did a few changes. Like I did add the Natural Touch paper because I just thought that looked very, very farmlandy. But Akiko Sudano, she has a blog called Stampin' in the Meadow. And oh my goodness, many of her designs I follow. And this was one of them. So basically what she has done here that I have completely copied, cased, we call it, copy and share everything, is basically having this chick with 2 of the feed sacks cut out of crumb cake, and then nothing is as cute as the corn stalk. The corn stalk comes in 3 dies. Well, basically, you've got a die for the stalk, and then you've got individual dies for each of the little corn husks, I guess you would call them, and then you've got the little corns. And I'm going to try and get close enough that you can see that those corn are actually embossed. So when you run them through, you don't have to paint or color or anything. You've got corn. It's just amazing. Now she used cherry cobbler, and then she matched her cherry cobbler and made a cherry cobbler balloon and cherry cobbler for her whatever crown. What do you call that? I was raised on a farm. I should know these things. Anyway, I don't. Um, I chose to use the terracotta tile because it is one of the ones going away. So it is one of our in colors that is going away. And I had a whole stack of it because I love it and hadn't used it. Not much of it. I mean, I've used a couple, but not much. So I thought this was the perfect, and I just didn't think, I didn't want red. So I changed the color to terracotta tile. I added a layer of the natural designer series paper that'll be available for the next 2 months. Then basically you're going to take your white piece. Let's get this kit. Let me put this here so you don't have to see me doing that. So each month, ladies, I make kits, or gentlemen, if you're out there with us, I make kits, and this month's was $15 for the kits because there were 4 cards. Usually it's $5 for 2 cards. But this time we're having a stamp a stack. So we've also got lots of goodies to eat and other things with our Fun 15. Now this one, I cut the other way. I cut this one at 4 1/4 by 11, scoring it at 5 1/2. So we have a card that opened one way, and this card opens, I call it the long way. So this card opens the long way. You'll have that in your kit. You have crumb cake to cut out the 2 feed sacks, which amazingly are detailed too. The dies that they're coming out with these days are amazingly detailed. So I cut out 2 of those from your crumb cake. You'll need to do that. Then you have a piece of crushed curry to cut out 3 of your corn stalks. And then you have a piece of granny apple green. This is something that I use constantly too. Akiko used dark green. She used cherry cobbler here and for the balloon, and then she used garden green here, the darker green. But I wanted the orange, and then I wanted a bright green, and I love our granny apple green. So you've got a piece of granny apple green that will cut out your corn stalk and each of your little corn husks. So that's in your kit. And what I do, for those of you coming this afternoon, you'll see next to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you'll see where I've laid out each of the things that you're going to need to cut will be laid out on this metal so that we don't lose any of those corn cobs or those corn husks. So you see here we've got little corn cobs, corn husks. Here's the die for the corn stalk itself. Here's the one for the streamers. Here's the one that cuts out the little chicken looking at the cupcake. Here's the happy birthday one. And then here's our big chick flying in the air, holding a balloon down. He's our balloon holder, maybe. And then my favorite, most people don't do the inside of their cards when you see them online, but I think the inside's just as much fun to decorate as the outside. And I wanted you to see this little bitty chick is so cute. He doesn't come with a stamp, so there's no stamp for this little guy. But look what I did with him. I cut him out twice, and then you turn it over, and basically you have to be a little careful because if you've got an older set of cutting sheets, the plates, he doesn't look very pretty. So you know what you do? You take a piece of cardstock and put that little guy on it and run it back through. No die, just the cardstock. And it takes out all those little lines that you might get from an older cutting plate. So I took and made a streamer there, and those 2 little chicks are Gonna put that streamer up for this birthday. The Have a Happy Day comes in the set, and this streamer on each end, I knew I wanted a little chickie, but I don't. Their eyes are just a blank hole when you cut them out. So what I did is I colored the end of the streamer black, so that when I put the chick over it, his eyes show through. So there's not black on the back of the chicken. Like sometimes I just use a hole punch, like a typical one we had in the office environment, and just punch a black one, and I'll put it behind the chick. I'll show you one I did like that for Paul's birthday card here in a minute. But in this case, we didn't need to, because we want these little chickens to look like they're gonna put up those streamers for you. So we put them right there. I just, love, love, love the little chick. And I thought, even though he doesn't have a stamp, you need to see this little guy. So there's our little chicken. And then what I did love, I looked and looked and looked at different ways that people colored these chickens. And I thought Akiko's was the best. For those of you watching, can anybody tell me what you think that might be for our Stampin' Blends? No? It is our skin color. Let me grab it. Ivory. I would never have grabbed ivory. Let me see if I can find the chicken I did. I would not have thought of ivory. I would have thought, well, I kind of want a brownish chicken. So here's the chicken Karen did. For the first card, I thought, oh, I kind of want him brownish. And I mixed Mango Melody and Rich Raspberry to try and get a cool brown. But he looks a little more like a cow's color than a chicken's color. Well, maybe. I went online looking for pictures of these chickens, and you'll see it on my blog. There's a picture of a chicken with the top knot like that. He's all white, and all his top knot's white. But there were many, many colors. And of course, it's more fun. We even make them into our funky ones with purple hair and all kinds of fun stuff. So a neat little chicken to play with. But this one, I loved how Akiko used the ivory. And she colored the chicken with ivory, leaving his head white. And then coloring, this again is pumpkin pie, matching the balloon to his top knot to the, I didn't have a terracotta tile Stampin' Blend, but I thought that pretty much matched. So those three colors are kind of all pulled in. And then I've got Mango Melody on his beak and his feet, or her feet. And that's all of the actual Stampin' Blend coloring. But in your process, I need to give you what you need to do in order here. So you can put those aside, and you know you're going to stamp and color. Okay, this is for your streamer on the inside. This is Thick Whisper White to stamp your chicken on. And then he cuts out with a die cut. So thank you, Stampin' Up. We have a die cut that's going to cut out our little chicken, and we don't have to fussy cut him. Some people are struggling now as they get arthritis in their hands, and having these dies is just wonderful. So thank you, Stampin' Up. And then they brought back our Hey Chick one and made dies for it. And I will get you the set to show you that, because it's got way, way amazing things in it. Okay, and then you have, so on the inside, I put a little piece of our brown. I like to try and bring all the colors from the front to the inside. So you've got a little strip here to go on the bottom. That's in your kit. Okay, we've got yellow for the chickies. We've got the orange terracotta tile. Then you've got, be careful with these, you've got a big piece for the inside. a smaller piece of Whisper White, basic white, for the outside. So those are not the same color because I wanted to show more of um, the new paper that's available only for a couple months. So when you're looking at your kit, be sure that you use your smaller one. Your smaller one goes on the front, your larger one goes in the middle. Now with this also, you want to follow kind of you're going to want to place where your chicken, let's pretend he's all cut out here. So you want to look at where your chicken's going to be, and the balloon's just about an 1/8 inch from the top. Pretty much centered. And then you've got your happy birthday that you're going to stamp here at the bottom. So you've got your happy birthday stamp from the same set that you're going to stamp on the bottom beneath our little guy. So you're going to stamp happy birthday, but you're not going to mount that chicken yet. You're going to stamp happy birthday. Then you're going to play with the wonderful new blending brushes that we have all been waiting for. They've been out with some of the other companies a lot longer, but we're just now getting these fabulous blending brushes. And what this allows you to do is this allows you to have color that, I don't know about you, but when I use my little daubers, I have to be very careful and daub them off and then go on here to put on my color. Still works, but this works better. I still use the same habit of, let's just do this because you need to see these beautiful, beautiful things. So basically I've got So Saffron here. And we're going to move this out of the way. And we're going to stamp our happy birthday. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I do want to show you these blending brushes. I like to look just to see if I roll my stamp, it'll get black on the edges. And then I'm going to be mad at myself because I'm going to have a shadow and I'll have to turn the paper over and do it again. So we've got our happy birthday. We're going to center that, stamp it right here. Let that ink take effect in there. Okay. So now we know where our happy birthday is. Now we can see where we want just a little bit of So Saffron. So I'm going to ink that up nice and good. But then just like when I want it to come a little ways out. But then from his feet on, I want it to be blue. So I want the yellow to be just in this area. So you'll blend that yellow. And you've seen me do it before with the daubers. But it's so much easier with this to not get too much color, to get just those little shadows. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I got black on my fingers from the memento, and then I just touched the card and got black there. So then basically you can go 2-3 times, whatever, to to get the depth of color that you want. I just did mine probably 3 times just to get a nice little depth of color, but then I did the sky a little more. So I stamped that a little more into the blue and then rubbed that. And you'll see I did the same thing on the inside. I stamped Have a Happy Day from that same chick set. I got these guys, I kind of knew where they were going to be. Before I mounted them, I just put that little bit of yellow and that little bit of blue. So we brought in our chickens from the front, we brought in our terracotta tile, and our little bit of blue and yellow shading. Okay? Then, if you can see, I think this makes it really special. After you have stamped and after you have sponged, before you mount any of these things that you've cut out, if you would run it through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, it has a very, very special look instead of just being the plain. So this is the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Can you tell that? Ooh, we'll get really close. Now you can tell it. You can't see any of the other stuff, but that's the Tasteful Textile folder. And I think it just added enough without being too much. Like some of them, I mean, had diamonds. I thought about that and the other, but this one was perfect. And again, thank you, Akiko, because she had used that one. So basically, that is it for this card. And we're not going to put it together, and I'm going to have to start this one on the other side because my Memento ink got on my finger and my finger got there, and I don't think my cornstalk's going to cover it up, so I'll have to start that one all over anyway. So I used saffron for the yellow and balmy blue for the sky, and our new blending brushes. So let's mosey on to the next card. Thank you for your patience, as we want to be sure and help those people who have the sets but can't come to the Stamp-A-Stack. So at least they can see, you know, what we're supposed to do. And those coming to the Stamp-A-Stack, those of you coming on Saturday, if you watch this, you will have a better idea of what we did and what you're going to need to do when you get here. Okay, so that's that set. Birthday chicks, just amazing. The Hey Birthday chick with the other. Before we go to the next card, I will show you this card that I made with the whole set for my husband, which the set of Hey Chick dies, it has a chicken coop. Then we have, again, our cornstalk. And this comes from the Celebration donkey, our darling donkeys. But then it has this sign, and I put "It's your birthday" there, and "Hee haw" here, "Let's celebrate you." It also has some interesting cutouts here, which let's pull that way up, where you see the chicken footprints, and that chicken's headed to some seed there. And it's like, well, how in the world? All the die does is just poke out holes. How do you get it put back in? Surely you didn't put all those back in. No, we do that sometimes. We call it paper piecing. But if you'll remember our card from Christmas, any of you who are there, when you have this and you want to hold in, you want the dimension, but you want to hold in what you've cut out, put a piece of regular Scotch tape on the back, run it through, then put another piece of tape so that it doesn't fall out once you've got your holes cut. And basically, then you hold in all those little things without having to try and find them on your desktop and put them back. And you can color them yellow, and you've got your feed. Now, with his little eye, like I was telling you, I did cut out a little black piece using a hole punch, just a typical hole punch, and put it behind his little head so that he had a black eye instead of just a hole going through. Because I know if I tried to get the marker in there, I'd probably make a mess. And then we have the cool chicken coop, which I colored with crumb cake, light and dark, and mango melon. No, I didn't use the orangey one. I used the yellow. Crushed curry to try and color like the hay. And it was just fun, fun, fun. And this, it has a fence. Your set has a fence. It has this one, which is more like your white fence, so you can color it brown. And it also has, and I did bring that too to show you. It has a chicken wire fence. So you could cut out the chicken wire, and you could have put chicken wire up there to hold in your chickens. So that was just a kick. And then, of course, you've got a little bow that you could put on one of your chickens. And this cuts out the one that we did on the inside that said celebrate you, and the little guy was jumping up. So lots of fun dies there. And that goes with your Hey Chick set. So you can cut out these 3, 4 chickens. Here's Have a Happy Day, You're a Good Egg, Hey Chick. Fun, fun set to own. And that, I think, is available through the end of the January through June mini catalog. So I think when it goes away at the end of June that this goes away. So you may want to get that now if you had some thoughts about wanting these chicken sets. Okay, let's hurry on to butterflies. It's time for butterflies. So we have basically, you'll have this kit, and I want to give credit to Mary Detheridge of Stamps and Lingers. I saw this on her blog post. Now, she added a lot more than I did. She added 4 butterflies and 4 different greeneries and lots more little heart dies. But I like the 3 smaller ones, and not having quite as much. When I looked at putting more and more, I thought, nope, I think I just like it this way. So basically what we've done, and again, all of the dimensions will be on the blog, but probably not till next Monday, when I don't have the grandkids. And somewhere I have that card kit. Oh, here it is. Here we go. So in your card kit, what you're going to have is you've got some Misty Moonlight. I love this color. And then for the inside, you've got a piece of white and a black piece, and then a piece of that same kind of watercolory looking front piece. Actually, it was kind of sad. It's like, wait. The butterflies that you cut out are on the back of this piece of paper. So we were able to cut out the butterflies, and then there was this nice little strip on the back that we could cut for the inside of the card. So that was one way we could save a bit. And what I tried to do, we've done something special here, and again, this is Mary Detheridge's idea, where she was following what do you call it when you get the design and then you make a card that goes with that design? Not mystery card stamping, but a card layout type thing, and then you have to figure it out. Well, this layout had a piece here and a piece here, and what she did is she took and cut this front piece and then just split it by that 1/8 of an inch to have the look of the two. I thought that she had ribbon back behind it before I started reading, because to me it kind of looked like you had ribbon back there. So that was a cool idea that I really, really liked. And before she cut it, she ran it through with our Oh So Whimsy dies. Those dies are in the January through June mini catalog, which goes away. Let me look at the date for sure. It goes away June 30th of 2021. And again, it's so funny how I look at dies and say, well, I really don't know that I would need dies that just do funky little stuff on the outside like that. But then they introduced butterflies. And to me, it's like a butterfly's fluttering. It's just so cute, these Oh So Whimsy. So you've got your piece. Now I have, for your kit, for those who I had to deliver the kit, since you wouldn't have the Oh So Whimsy dies, I went ahead and cut that for you. And see, you never know what color. This has got yellows and greens here and pinks and greens here, but not as much, a lot more yellow here. So just different pieces from the same thing. So you've got this, it's already cut. And what you're going to do is you're going to build your top, and then you're going to pop up that top. Can you see those dimensionals in there? You popped them up? No? That's because they're black dimensionals. Thank you, Stampin' Up! Again, they gave us black dimensionals. So we're going to have our base here of Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to build our butterfly collage on the black, putting the black here and here with just that little bit of black here and a little more black in the middle. So you're going to have your collage built on whatever, it's the same paper, just not always the same look of that watercolor. Just love it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stamp. I used I'll get it here for you. I used Waterfront, which I predict will go away because it's been in the catalog for 2 years. So I'm worried it'll probably go away. I love this set. And I've used this more times than one because I love this. Friends make the good times better and the hard times easier. And I've made a whole scene with it, with water and mountains and trees, and just really had fun with this set. So this set is called Waterfront that I'm using for the greeting here. So I stamped it Just Jade or this shaded spruce, and then cut it out with our second largest oval. So again, for those of you coming to the Stamp-A-Stack, you'll see that all your cutouts are mounted here on a magnetic, and we'll just keep them in line that way so we don't lose them. So here's the Stitched with Whimsy die that I cut out here, or that cut out that it doesn't cut out anything. All it does is just put in these cute little dots, and I mean, it's like dots and dashes. I suppose if we knew Morse code, we'd know dot, dash, 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 dash. Maybe it's SOS call or something. Don't know. Anyway, that is what you're going to use to, well, you don't have to cut out this, put the whimsy on that, because that is done for you in the kits that I've shipped. But those who are going to be at the Stamp-A-Stack, you're going to get to do this yourself, and then you're going to cut this at 1.5 inches, and then you're going to mount it to the black directly. Um, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your green and you're going to stamp from Forever Fern. I used several different green things before I found one. Green leaves, and I tried this one, didn't like it. There was something else I tried. I'm going, I like this one with its skinny leaves to go on the side. But what I did is I stamped it. This is mint macaron, which I thought went really well with all of the different colors of green in here. So you're going to stamp on there, but then you don't want to hide all these 3 leaves. I cut this off right here with these 3 bottom leaves and put those to make it a little longer. So those 3 leaves are really, that were at the bottom, are now up there. That's like our scripture. You're at the back. Don't try to be at the front because they may just take you to the front. You go to the front, they'll put you to the back. So I thought we've got our bottom here up at the top. And then these kind of coming out to the side. So you will cut that out with a die. Forever Ferns has a beautiful set of dies for all these. Another set, this one we hope stays because we have loved it and used it many a time. So we cut it out with a Forever Fern, and we've stamped first because you don't want to, if you stamp it wrong, you can always turn this over and do it again. But if you'll notice, this oval this is the size of the oval, the second one in, and the first time I stamped it perfectly centered and everything. Well, that didn't work well. It did not work well. You need to do your greeting off to the left and up a little because we want our butterflies here. So we love the fact that you've got your oval showing here, but you're going to want to stamp it off center, which is really hard for Karen, who's this symmetrical, monochromatic perfectionist, but I liked it. So basically then what you've got is you've got your 3 little butterflies. So the die punches out 6, and we used, on the other butterfly card, we used the big monarch. On the masculine card, and we used the large blue one on this card. And we have these 3, and then we have another smaller yellowish pink, I'm not sure, but a smaller one that will be there for another card. So basically in stamp, you just cut them out and position them, and these, what I did is glue them down directly with Tombow. But then take and add, I don't know if you can see it. So it's glued down directly, but then you've got Stampin' Dimensionals kind of stuck in there under their wings. And you want to take your butterflies before you mount them. And I just put my thumb here so that we don't bend that. I used to use my bone folder, but I have found that when my bone folder sometimes will leave a little crease, and I don't want a crease on my butterflies. So you want to be sure and break those fibers just a little so that you get a little more dimension. You glue it down, and then you'll have butterflies that look like they're flying a little bit. So you've got your Stampin' Dimensionals, your oval is put on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Then this and this are all glued directly. This is glued directly to the bottom of that oval. Then there's Stampin' Dimensionals underneath the wings. The green is glued down directly to your designer series paper. Then what's interesting is we have We have a set of resin hearts in our mini catalog that lasts through June. I keep saying that because I don't know if you're like me, but time is absolutely flying. And it has little red hearts and little white hearts. So white just went away. Red really is, there's not the red color you want in there, more pink. So what Mary Detheridge did that I cased is she took those little hearts and she took her Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blends and she colored them so that we have darker little hearts that blend really well and put them around. Is that the coolest thing? Then on the inside, where I wanted to stamp and makes the hard times easier, I used another one of the sizes of the Whimsy dies. So there's the big one we used on the outside. This is the small one we used. I used it on the inside first and got it nicely lined up, and then stamped and the hard times easier over to the left. And then our designer series paper has this whole page full of little bitty butterflies. No dies for those, sorry. And then I cut out two little ones there and just glued them directly. They're not popped up to go down there. And then you see our strip down here, what I was trying to do, I don't know, hopefully successfully. I wanted the little tiny strip like we have out here, but then I wanted the big strip, top and bottom, like we have out the cutout here. So if you wonder what in the world is she doing, that she's got different borders on it, well, that's kind of what I was doing, is just giving that bigger black border like we had the cut in the front. And that is that card. So be sure and contact me if you've got questions on how we did that card, and I'll help you out. The next card is the one that I was talking about. That is, ooh, I'd better put this kit up because I really would like to make one of these cards and maybe send it to my mom. I hear that they're opening up these assisted living places where we might actually be able to go in and visit our loved ones. I sure hope so. And that we're seeing the end of this craziness with COVID isolating us all from each other. I'm seeing the end and said, okay, we need to stamp a stack. There's just too much to show you to just do it like this and hope you buy the things. And I wonder how many people have card kits for club that have never been used. Okay, so again, here we have our designer series paper, which this is completely gone. This, I should have had another piece of it, but let's just get our kit and build this one. This one I would say is more your oranges and yellows, probably more of a masculine card if you wanted to go that route with the black. I tried putting the Coastal Cabana underneath with the blue, but with the black and the butterfly, we just needed to make him pop. And we also now sell these black matte dots in the June catalog. You might want to stock up a little there. I've put one here and here and here and here. And I put a medium-sized one on the little guy's head. I don't think you need them all up and down because you just need his head to be a little more. And I did the same thing here with a small dot and put a small black dot on this little butterfly's head. So a small one there, a large one there. Pretty fun. Okay, let me find this card kit. I stack everything beside me, and then as I reach and grab, and I wind up with a total disaster. So basically they're made the same way. The difference is in This butterfly has black twine behind him, and the paper's cut the same way. Now, interestingly, you've got to see the mini messages that's in the catalog. Just a card to say hello, sending a smile your way, and actually the hoping your day is full of love, laughter, and joy. All of those come from Merry Messages, which is a set that you can buy that kind of like our butterflies are all in one stamp, all 6 butterflies. This is the same way with these greetings. These greetings are all one full stamp. Then you have a die, one full die that you line up and you cut out every single one of these. I looked at this and said, well, those will be too tiny. I don't think I need this. They're too small. I prefer having a little bigger greeting. And thank you, Lori. She got it and she cut it out and gave me a set in an envelope. And after using 4 or 5 of them on a card, going, I need just something little, I'm going, okay, I need this. Oh, happy day. I think I used that for sending happy thoughts. Because Mom, it's not her birthday. It's not Mother's Day. I just want to send her a card about every week to cheer her up. So I needed some of those generic ones. And sure enough, just a card to say hello. Sending happy thoughts. Oh, happy day. Hi there. Then, of course, there's some thank you for being you. Thank you ever so much. And Lori found a fishing tackle box on Amazon. Flambeau, I think is the name, Flambeau. And then she did a set or 2 or 3, and then she sorted them so that if you want a thank you, you can just go in quickly and grab a thank you. Or here's your generics, or here's your anniversary, congratulations. I mean, just amazing. And they're less than $5 right now on Amazon. So I think I posted that on my blog. But I'm finding that these mini Merry Messages are very, very versatile. And you can see I've used it here. Just a card to say hello and sending a smile your way. Now, the inside of this one, I said, may your day be filled with heartfelt happiness. And that comes from Fancy Phrases. And it also has sending a little smile your way. So if you wanted a much bigger one that's like 2.5 times that little one, here is sending a little smile your way. May your day be filled with heartfelt happiness. Or if you have some that are more humorous, keep it in case you need it sometime. So that's kind of fun. And for the other card, I use the same set for the greetings with just a card to say hello from Mini Messages. But then on the inside, I did a wide strip of the leftover paper because I love those monarch butterflies. And then a little tiny strip here to bring in the Orange Designer Series paper and did them this way. And then I did the one from that set that says, when I count my blessings, I count you twice. So very generic card, but I think it turned out pretty beautiful. And again, that comes from Fancy Phrases. So in the kits that I sent you, I can't stamp anything. So you'll have white, just basic white that you'll be able to stamp on with whatever you might be doing a birthday. So you will not be getting these in your kits. Only the cutouts can come in your kits. And then with our Magenta Madness, this fabulous pink, I thought, oh yay, I think it's one of Joy's favorite colors. So I wanted, when I was trying to think, well, what do I put behind this? Should I just put the Coastal Cabana? And then I saw the pink and I thought of Joy and said, oh no, we need a bright, bright Magenta Madness one. And then I've used some of the strips of that paper again here for the bottom. So in your kit, you will have a piece for the bottom of the inside, and a strip to go on that. Bottom piece with your white. And amazingly, you know, you have more layers really than, so there's your inside. And then you can stamp it as you wish. On the inside, again, I used "May your day be filled with heartfelt happiness." Then on the outside, just because I wanted you to see how cool it was, I did not cut your paper for you. I cut it down to the size that you will then cut into a diagonal. So I do want to do that here on camera so that you can see. This again was our mystery card number 9, I think, and it is on the blog. So it's a diagonal cut. I mean, that is so pretty itself. I mean, you could almost just not cut it and put this on, and then wrap this around, and then put this little guy on. And that's a pretty card itself, but then look what happens if we cut it into diagonals and glue it on. So let me show you how you do that. So you've got your piece cut to the right size. So that's your first step. 4 by, it is a 4 by 5 1/4. And what's interesting, so that is our typical size for a layer, so that we have that nice 1/8 of an inch, 5 1/4 by 4. But because we're going to push it out and put borders in here, it actually becomes 5 1/8. So your inside cut piece is that 5 1/8. So for all of you who have your standard sizes down, you're going to go, she didn't do that standard size. I didn't, because I wanted it to match the front where you have the 5 1/8 instead of 5 1/4. So you have a 1/16 on the edge, I guess you'd say. Anyway, let's take this and let's find our Stampin' Cutter. And I'll show you how I did this. I don't know how you work with your cutters. I've learned on my Stampin' Up! Cutter that when I was doing this, if I put, okay, so we're going to put the 2 edges right at the corners. And a couple of them didn't come out exact. And I realized I was lining up right in the middle of where my cut, and you'd think that would be it. But I found if I put it right to the right, it actually cuts better. And I'm going to take my cutter to the middle and cut down so that when I hit that edge, it doesn't fray it. So I get a nice, do you see those cuts? And I was afraid if it hit that very corner and it's not the sharpest, we could have a problem. Okay, so there, you've got half. Well, now what are you going to do? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take those sticky notes. I hope you have a whole supply of them. I use them constantly. You're going to take those sticky notes and carefully, of course, we've got all kinds of butterflies, so it's pretty easy to see where we need to go to put those back. Put a piece on this side and up here on this side so that we can cut it straight down that middle and hold that in place. So again, we'll come here. And we're going to come here, and I have to go to the right-hand side of my cutter blade. Don't cutter rack, whatever you call this thing. Because I made a lot of these. And see, now when I put that down, I saw that it pushed it. So you do have to be a little careful there. Have a little doggy hair there. Okay, so let me be a little more careful as I put down the arm and hold it. Yep, still lined up. Oh, that wasn't good. I should have kept it. From one end to the other because I just moved it. Maybe it would be better if you just did it from one end to the other. Okay. Instead of going to the middle and then coming out, because then I didn't hold it and it shifted just a little. But now what you have is a puzzle. Only you get to be the creator of the puzzle. So you've got some nice long skinny strips. And you've got these. And you know, with the black one, with the black and the monarchy butterfly, I'm not sure he's a true monarch. He doesn't have quite enough black. I almost, when I put these back on, just looking at it, I almost just put the whole thing with the black cuts. Was beautiful too. It looked much better than not having any cuts, but so there's an option. You could do that. Or, like I did, and put those on the outside. Remembering, we're going to have doily and twine and all kinds of stuff to take away from that starkness of that blue. Or you could go this way. And maybe depending on if you wanted a great big greeting up there and your butterflies to the side, that might look good just as well. You know, with your twines and all and your butterfly. So it's up to you how you want to glue all that down. And basically what I did is I wanted this, and this, and this together. And remember, this designer series, I know I sound like a broken record, but this designer series paper is lovely, but only available through March and April, basically May 3rd, I think, is when the promotion. So when the new catalog comes out, the paper goes away for whatever reason. So what I did is I took and used a glue dot. Actually, I used 2 or 3. And be sure to look at your doily because, again, just like our die cuts, there's a right and a wrong side. So the side with more of the roundy edges is the right side. And then I put the doily with the points, your square edges, going out to the side. And I put some glue dots right here and glued it down. Then there wasn't enough glue dots to hold the twine as I did it. So what I did is I added another 4 glue dots to there and then just basically you've got 24 inches here, so it's plenty that you can do 3 nice loops on each side. So you'll go one side, then you'll go to the other side, then you'll come back to this side, then you'll go to the other side, and it just seems to almost automatically make a figure 8. I don't know if that's the twist of the thing or what I'm doing, but it seems the figure 8 sure seems to work. And basically they say that 3 is the best number for the eye, is you want always to use odd numbers. So we've got 3 loops on either side. Then what I did is I put a bunch of Tombow glue right there in the middle. Well, I cut off that end. We didn't want that end sticking out there. But I put a bunch of Tombow glue right there and put our butterfly on it a cattywampus way, and held that onto the liquid glue till it got nice and firm. And he looks popped up because, once again, before I did that, see, I forgot a step there. Your one step is to be sure and go in here, break those fibers a little and get those wings fluffed up. And I just found my fingers make it nice and roundy. And sometimes when I use the bone folder, I wind up with a line because I'll go like that, and I don't know what I do. I see people using it all the time and they seem good at it, but I prefer my finger. And basically, I held this onto the liquid glue until I felt that he was nice and stable. Then basically went in under here, way back in here, so he's not quite, so you still have fluffy wings out there on the side, but you're popping up the edges, and then you've got your wings on the side. So I used a couple pop-ups on each side there. And then I took the little black dot for his head, the smaller of our black matte dots, and put it here for his head. And those are available in the January through June mini catalog. Also available, they were on back order, but they should be back in next week, are these pink pearls. They're in the Hydrangea Hill collection, which we'll be using next month. So you're going to love that collection as well from the new catalog. But I took the pink pearls and then a message from Merry Messages, sending a smile your way. And then may your day be filled with heartfelt happiness, came from the Fancy Phrases set. And that's our cards for today. So you had basically that one. And this black one, I did not put a doily under it. I thought that was too much and didn't need it with the black. And same cut, same thing with orange on the back. So those are those cards. So those are our 4 cards for today. I appreciate you spending your time with me. You wouldn't have wanted me to construct all 4 of those on air because we'd still be here till noon. And my Stamp-A-Stack's at 1 o'clock. So we're having Stamp-A-Stacks this week. You can always order card kits from me for our events. And the next month is our last rotation for club. So we will do 2 club cards. Club cards are not the same. Stamp-A-Stack cards, I like to say, are 30-minute cards. Those are probably more like 40. Took us an hour and a half to go through 4 of them without actually stamping. So I'm going to say that it'll be a good 2 hours to get these cards done. But for club, we do 2, typically a fancy fold and something that takes a little bit more time instead of the simpler cards to make a club card. So that's what interested people in being part of my club, is the difference in the card kits, having a different type of card kit. So if you're interested in club, March is a non-club month, but then April we have our last club rotation for this last 12 months. So we haven't been able to meet together, but we've been able to do it online. So we'll do one more club online to finish out the year, and then we'll start in May with a new rotation. So if you're interested in joining club, I'd love to have you. You don't have to live here. I can mail you cards. I just can't stamp them because that would be, using Stampin' Up! Stamps, and they want you to buy the stamps, not just get kits. If you want just kits with all the stamps in you, Paper Pumpkin is your option for that. But you still can buy the kits, and we'll have 2 kits per month. I'll be sending out a questionnaire on what type of club the ladies would like to see next year. So I haven't decided until I hear from them how they all want to do it, except that we are going to be getting together to do it. We may have to split it into 2 so that there's very few, so that there's only a few in each session. But we can do that. So we'll be seeing, so stay posted, stay tuned, and I will post how we're going to do club going on starting in May. And May is the start of our new annual catalog. So all brand new stuff. And if you'd like a new catalog, contact me and I can get you those. So thank you for being with me for 4. Here, let's show these cards again. So we had these 2. We'll end the same way we started with looking at the cards that we made. So we made 2 butterfly cards, and we made 2 chicken cards. 2 birthday cards with our Hey Birthday check. So I hope you enjoyed this and got some great ideas. I'd love to be your demonstrator if you don't have someone that you're supporting. I'd love to have you join my group, either for club or let me just help you as I can with what you have needs for crafting. Again, my blog is stampalosopher.com. Think of a philosopher who stamps. So it's Stamp a Losopher. So that's the easy way. And you can go there and you can search and find many of the things we've done in the past. And hopefully all these will be on by next week. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see many of you, I hope, this afternoon at the Stamp-A-Stack, and tomorrow Stamp-A-Stack, and Wednesday afternoon Stamp-A-Stack, and Saturday Stamp-A-Stack. And we'll make some fun cards. And happy St. Patrick's Day! Yay! It matches my eyes finally. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.